My dear brothers and sisters, today is April 22. It is the death anniversary of our dear friend and a brother in ministry, Brother Ramon Chito Honco. Probably many of you know him. I have invited him to give his personal testimony, sharings, talks on his conversion experiences, and how he continued to grow in the love and relationship with God in the various parishes and communities that I ministered with back in the Philippines. Here in the United States, I got to invite him also several times to share also his testimony and life experiences to the communities where I served. Last year, I learned that he had cancer. He discovered his cancer while he was um, preaching, speaking during Advent in the Philippines, and immediately his wife asked him to come to the United States, knowing that there are better facilities and medical help can be given to him here. And so when he was here in the United States, I got to visit him and see him. So when I visited him and anointed him, so we had a very short conversation. But one thing that struck me is that I realized how peaceful he was. Even though he may had a fourth stage cancer, he was struggling to speak. You know, having been a speaker for so long, um, God has used his voice to spread the good news, and here he is. He could hardly speak. He had difficulty. His voice is so low, and but what I saw in him was a very peaceful man. He was very peaceful, no questions towards the Lord, not questioning God, asking, why me, Lord? I still have so much to do. There's so much work that you would want me to do. There's no question like that. No anxieties, no fear. I didn't see any fear in him. I didn't sense any fear or anxiety in him. And he told me, and I remember very well, Father, I am very peaceful. I am very obedient to the will of God. I have learned to accept and follow God in my life. And that God gave me this sickness, he freely accepted it. And he was so peaceful in the midst of all his sickness and suffering. And that gave a very strong impression on me. And that reminded me today, especially nowadays when there is so much anxieties and fears going on around us, he serves as an inspiration. He serves an example to all of us that in the midst of all this suffering and fear, if we focus on the Lord, if we focus on Jesus and his kingdom, there is nothing that we should be afraid of. We should learn just to surrender and to put our faith and trust in God. Brother Chito had used his ministry to share his faith, his trust in God. I believe he also used his sickness to teach me, and now I'm sharing this with you, to teach us all a lesson on how we should face this fear and anxiety that we face right now with this pandemic. To just focus on God, focus on his promises, and learn to come to him and to put our trust in him. And so may we always remember not to fear, not to be afraid, but to trust in God.